Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact step-by-step funnel, which is currently allowing Shelby Sapp to generate over $500,000 per month in pure profit with her high ticket coaching business. And before I get into this video, before I start breaking all of these concepts down, you're probably coming into this video and you're coming into this breakdown right here with the mindset of, okay, this is like a bunch of stuff and there's so much we need to go over here. And you may be a little bit overwhelmed. You're probably trying to start or scale your coaching business right now, or maybe you're just genuinely curious and you're looking at this and you're like, wow, this is a lot. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to understand any of this. But to be completely honest with you guys, to be completely transparent, this is a lot simpler than it looks. It's a very simple 3-step process, which is allowing her to do the kinds of numbers which she's doing. And it really is a lot simpler than you guys think. And the breakdown which I'm going to be making, I've simplified the entire thing to the point where anyone can understand it and replicate this entire process for themselves and launch their own info product within literally a week using these exact frameworks. So let's get straight into it. Now, the 3-step process which we're going to be breaking down in this video is number one, how she's getting traffic for her info product, then how she's generating interested leads out of this traffic, how everyone getting to watch her content is getting interested in whatever she's selling, and then how she's turning these interested leads into actual customers using her conversion mechanism. But obviously, we need to start with traffic because it always comes down to what I say in every single funnel breakdown which I make. If you don't have traffic, if nobody knows what you're selling, how are they even supposed to buy something that they don't even know exists, right? It all comes down to that. And this is exactly what we're going to be covering. So Shelby Sapp is using 3 different traffic sources for her content. She has Instagram as the main traffic source. She has TikTok as a second traffic source. And she's just getting started with YouTube too, which I'm also going to be breaking down. But obviously, we need to start with Instagram because that's where she's made most of her money. And she has 2 different Instagram pages right here. She has her personal brand, which funnels into her program page. But because it is a funnel, we need to start with where it starts, and that is her personal brand. So let me just make my red pen a little bit smaller so I don't make a mess over here. And let's take a look at what she's doing in terms of her own personal branding. So when you land on her page, it's a very clear picture of who she is. And she has her first and last name as her name, which is very good. Not a complicated name, no numbers, no weird characters, just her name. And as you guys can see here, she has nearly 800,000 followers doing this and just spamming the strategy, which I'm about to break down. So just before we get into the content that she's posting, the description which she's using is very good and also very simple, which is typically what you want to see. She's just breaking down what she does. So she's the #1 female sales trainer, and she has the #1 largest sales academy for women, where she's linking her She Sells Academy, which funnels into this page right here. And she also does this throughout her content, which I'm going to be breaking down later on. And then she also has a call to action to her live webinar, which she's frequently running. And right here, you can see her next live webinar is on June 12th, and she has a link for people to sign up over here, right? So this is what she does on her page, but obviously nobody would be seeing this unless they came through the content first. So I'm going to be breaking down what she's doing with her highlights, what she's doing with her reels, and what she's doing with her stories. But we need to start with the reels. So she has 2 different types of reels, which we're going to be breaking down and which she's using. And I'm going to start with the general reels, which she's just posting every single day. And what she's doing is she has a very specific content strategy, which is very versatile. And it appeals to a very specific ICP, which is women. She's trying to target women for her info product. And she's generally speaking about, different viral moments like this, where she's just trying to get views. She's speaking about different lifestyle and just like general talking. If she's in Paris and she wants to say something about Paris, she will. And then obviously the sales advice, which drives sales for her info product, right? And these are the main types of content which you want to be seeing with reels. We're not going too specific, where we're only posting sales advice, and all there is sales advice, which is cool. It converts people, but nobody's watching the content because they're not funneling through more top of funnel content, which can get millions of views. For example, a viral 7-second video like this can literally appeal to anybody, where she isn't saying a word and she just has a caption over here. Now, the people seeing this video, the 1.9 million people seeing this video, will funnel into her page and then eventually look at the talking and lifestyle videos like this, right? These are still very general videos. They still appeal to everybody, but they're a little bit more specific because it's actually her showing her personality through her speaking. However, these can also go viral, right? So we have two different types of viral pieces of content which we can use, and both of these won't get conversions, but what will get conversions is the sales advice, because this is where she goes specific in sales and gets people interested in sales, right? Videos like this, which will only get 60,000 views, but make 4 times the money which these videos will per 1,000 views, right? Now, this is cool. You know, she's getting the views, she's getting people interested, but how is she actually getting these people to convert? Well, she has a comment section CTA. And all it states is not all of you reading this will actually take high ticket sales seriously. But for those of you who want to show up to my 60-minute Zoom masterclass, free to attend. I don't sell anything on masterclasses anymore, just free game. Common sales, and I'll send you the link to secure your spot. Now, here's her saying I don't sell anything on my masterclass anymore isn't true. She's just saying this to get people to warm up, to ease up. Obviously, she's selling to salespeople. And then what she's going to do, she's going to sell to them after the masterclass, right? Which we're going to be going over later in this video. And then when they comment sales, she's just using a very simple ManyChat automation. And then they're signing up to her webinar in the DMs after the ManyChat automation sends them the masterclass link, right? So she has this content going out here. People are signing up to the masterclass, but not everybody's signing up to the masterclass. First, people want to see, like, is this masterclass even worth my time? Is it even worth me attending? So what they're going to do is they're going to go on her page, and the first thing they're going to see is her highlights right here. So this is what they're going to after watching her reels. And the highlights are very, very simple, but they're also just to get people onto the webinar. So for example, she has student results, which are building trust and authority. She has She Sells, which is obviously her academy. So she's speaking more about it. And obviously She Sells, the masterclass, they pretty much just tie in with each other. Remote sales, she's speaking about what it is, because obviously a confused buyer or a confused prospect will never buy. Different Q&As which are about She Sells. So this is also going back to She Sells. And then she has like an e-commerce brand called Mossy or something like that. But this isn't relevant to the high ticket mentorship through the masterclass, right? And then they're going through her highlights, they're going through her reels, and then they're like, okay, she looks pretty cool. Even if they don't sign up to the masterclass, they're still going to click this big blue follow button on her Instagram. And once they do this, they're getting into her ecosystem. And what this essentially means is now that they followed her, not only are they going to start seeing her reels a lot more consistently, but they're also going to start seeing her stories a lot more consistently. And stories is the main thing which she's using in order to get conversions out of her audience. And the way she's doing this is very simple. So the way that she's got her stories set up is she's getting warm leads into the DMs using the DM CTA in all of her reels, which we looked at over here, right, where they're DMing her sales. And then through that CTA, she's making different stories based on what she's seeing in the DMs and what people are looking for in that moment. So her stories are really going to vary. She has different student results, which she's posting, BTS work, lifestyle, day-to-day activities, updates on her program, She Sells, and to educate the audience if there's anything specific which she wants to educate them on. It could be a little bit of sales advice or just general life advice, right? And what this does is it builds goodwill. And once she has enough goodwill, once she feels like the goodwill is built up and she's getting all these DMs and the comment section is looking a lot more positive, then she's going to do a promotion. And the way that this works with these promotions is she builds goodwill, keeps building goodwill, keeps building goodwill. And once she has enough goodwill where she wants to monetize this chart, think of this like a trading chart, she wants to monetize this chart and make money from it, then she monetizes it through it with a CTA, takes all of this goodwill, all these people who've built goodwill with her, she's taking their money through I'm making it sound a little bit harsh, she's taking their money. Well, she's getting them to sign up to her class, pay her money, and then she starts building goodwill again until she can just replicate the cycle. And the cycle pretty much goes infinity, like I put these 3 dots right here. But the main thing is that if you do more CTAs and you have too many CTAs and the goodwill isn't there when you're making the CTAs, you're going to come off too salesy and it's going to look like you only want to make money from your audience. What you need to do is you always want to have more goodwill posts than CTAs posts. And this is extremely crucial people want to engage with the CTAs because of the goodwill building, being built up. And the most effective way and this is the most effective way to close deals, because the thing is that the majority of the followers already know, like, and trust her after there's enough goodwill built up. And it's like a new generation email list, right? We're collecting these leads, using them to send multiple messages to people at once, but it's a customizable and you can DM each individual person, right? So the way that it works is she's doing story sequence to monetize with them, right? So this is, simple enough. She's got the student results, she's posting lifestyle content. You guys have all seen this kind of like lifestyle content on Instagram. But when she wants to monetize off of them, do a promotion, it's not just one story, a few words and the link, it's an actual promotion. What we're doing is we're posting a series of stories which all build up into the CTA at the end. So the first story is just going to be a hook, and it's going to be like, I don't know, I've got a massive announcement. And then she's going to speak about a story. The story could be like how her last webinar did so well and she's had so many people joining and getting great results. Then she shows proof, which could be some student results. It could be other people getting good results in the program, her taking screenshots of that and showing that on her story. She does this again on the fourth slide, and then she does a CTA. She's going to be like, so if you're serious about taking all of this serious, if you're serious about taking all of this serious, so if you're serious about changing your life, helping your family, getting out of debt, whatever the CTA she's going to use based off the DMs that she's getting in, the ICP that she's seeing that week inside of her DMs, she's going to formulate a CTA, and she's going to use that to get people in to her high ticket coaching program, right? So this is fairly simple through her own personal brand. But this is a big driver for her content, but this really only works through the ecosystem which she's built up through the rest of the content, and especially on YouTube, which we're going to get into in just a second. But the second Instagram page, which she does have, is her program page. And this program page is also very simple. It's a little bit more salesy because it is more of like a corporate account. But all it says is She Sells Academy, and then she has the Hot Girls Learn Sales, because obviously her main ICP is women. Then by Shelby Sapp, so they know that it's actually hers and not like some kind of like general academy or whatever. So it's not like a big corporate thing, but it's like a tight-knit community by Shelby Sapp, and they know, like, and trust Shelby Sapp. That's why they're following this account. And then what she does is DM coach to hire our certified closers, no charge. So what she's doing here is she's getting people who own different coaching programs, and then she's taking the people inside of her coaching program who are different sales reps and then placing them into different coaching programs. It sounds a little bit weird, but that's just the way that's structured up. And then she has DM sales to become certified closer, which is obviously her main CTA for her closing program, right? Obviously, she has story highlights again. These are very, very similar testimonials about us, regional reps, meetups, and Q&A. Looks very similar to a website, right? Usually, this is the type of things that you see on a website, but she's using this Instagram account as a website, if you really think about it. She has the main info here in the highlights. She's speaking about different testimonials about us, regional reps. This is all the kind of stuff that you like to see on a website. And then in terms of the content, she's posting specific content for this page. And instead of 3 types of content, like on her main page where she likes to go viral, here she's posting a very specific 5 types of content. So she's posting different behind the scenes type of content. She's introducing different coaches through this kind of content. Different networking events are going up on here. Different types of educational videos are going up on here. And her transformational videos where she's just showing her own general results. Now, one thing that I'm pretty sure that I missed was the pinned posts on her profile on her main personal brand. So with these main posts, she's essentially just building up trust. So she has the know one, the like one, and the trust one, right? So essentially, these are the most important posts for the leads to climb the value ladder, because they're giving her instant authority and actionable value, which is her digital front door. So she has them getting to know her, which will get a bunch of views, her pretty much speaking about her sales story, then getting people to like her. She's giving them value, 6 sales objections in 60 seconds, and then getting people to trust her, which is sell me this pen, right? Sell me this pen. If she can sell them that pen and she looks legitimate, she looks like she can sell them that pen well, then they're going to trust her as a sales coach, right? They're going to be like, okay, she's actually good at this. Let me learn from her. So she has her personal story. Like I said, answer common questions, which is getting them to like her, and then showing expertise, which is getting them to trust her, right? Very, very simple, very important. Sorry about missing this previously. Small thing, but will make a big difference, right? And then with the program page, like I said before, this really is just a website for her main personal brand. But instead of going on like an actual website, she's making it a little bit more, I guess you could say, simpler. And obviously people already on Instagram, it's going to be a lot easier. That's going to get more conversions, and them following that page right here, these 55,000 people are constantly going to be getting these stories and these content onto their feed, right? So simple enough. Next thing that she's using is TikTok. There's not too much I can cover here, but I still want to cover this because I know that this is extremely important, especially for getting eyeballs onto the brand and building brand awareness. So she has 500,000 followers on TikTok with almost 20 million likes. And here, back to the ICP, women, she's speaking to other women. This is kind of how women or younger women, I guess she's speaking to, are the ones that she's trying to appeal to. Your sales mom, CEO of She Sells Academy, and then I'll teach you high ticket sales June 12th with the arrow right here and the link to our class. And the goal here is to get as many eyeballs onto our personal brand as possible while getting leads for the webinar, right? So the content is split up into two different styles. Now back to the pin post. Here she doesn't have the know, like, and trust formula, but she's literally just pinned the most viral posts onto her account. And then in terms of the actual content itself, it's very, very simple. So she's posting 3 to 4 times a day. You're going to see the same strategy with TGR trades. And then she's also reposting the most successful videos onto Instagram. So let's say, for example, here, this video doesn't do well, 9,000, 9,000, 13,000, 13,000. But she sees this video gets 22,000 views, instantly goes onto IG because she knows that this video will already go viral. This video, 12,000 views, 21,000 views, 12,000 views, instantly goes to Instagram because she already validated the fact that these videos are going to get views. And then obviously the more views, the more awareness, the more clicks onto the website, the more conversions for her. But no crazy content strategy here. And then in terms of the videos themselves, it's following the same strategy, which I broke down previously on Instagram, right? And now the part that a lot of you guys have been waiting for is the YouTube itself. This is where you get most of the, I guess you could say, conversions. Even this YouTube channel right here has like 3,000 subscribers. Like, my goal here isn't to build a big personal brand or go viral at all. It's literally just to get people into my info product, because obviously I'm selling something too. And with these 3,000 subscribers, I don't know the exact math, but I'm doing roughly $50,000 to $60,000 a month in cash collected / profit. I'm running on like 80% profit margins. And this is the same thing which Shelby can take advantage of just because of the much longer videos. But I'm going to get into that now. So on YouTube, like I said, very, very new still. She only has 3 videos on her page, and that explains the 6.6 thousand subscribers. But the main thing is that, like I said, she barely posts, and she's missing out on at least $100,000 a month if she started posting at least once a week. Now, I put $100,000 here per month as a minimum, but I would probably bump this up by a lot. If she can crack YouTube, start getting a bunch of views, I would even classify this as $300,000 a month. But obviously, the strategy that she's already doing is working. This would just be an add-on. But like I said, 3 videos total, and they're very simple. So since she only has 3 videos, I'll just break every single one of them down. So here, she's talking about you deserve to build your dream life. And then the goal here is just to give exposure to herself. First video, she just wants it to go viral and obviously funnel the viewers into other social media platforms. Then she has unleash your confident money making after alter ego, which is just real talk, mindset related storytelling, and it's just building trust with her audience, because she's pretty much just making like a very raw 30-minute video right here, which people can just watch without feeling like they're getting sold to. And then here, probably the most converting one, and the one that probably made her the most money, is unfiltered week in my life as a 24-year-old millionaire. And then she just says the exact same thing in the title. And then it just builds trust with the audience because they get to know, like, and trust her more by watching a 13-minute vlog. Looks into her life, they feel like she's living, or like the people watching the video are kind of like living with her. And then inspiring to other girl closers, I guess, or girl entrepreneurs, because she's kind of living the dream outcome of their life, and they get to watch it through this vlog. So still very, very simple stuff on this YouTube channel, but 12 days to go. Hopefully she can start to keep up the consistency and start generating an extra $100,000 to $300,000 a month through this YouTube page alone. Right now, another play that she could make, she can funnel people from Instagram to YouTube, where they don't get to watch as much of her content, like 60-second videos. They watch 5 videos. They've only watched 5 minutes of her content, but they watch one of her YouTube videos in full, and then they're up to like an hour of watching time. The more they watch her before she tries to pitch them, the higher chance that she has to convert them. So that's why YouTube is such a big play. Making 20, 30, 40-minute YouTube videos works so well for high ticket sales, because the longer they watch your content, the easier it is for you to convert them. And that's what all of this comes back to, right? Now, the next thing she's doing is she obviously has all this content. She's getting the millions of views. She's getting all of these stories out. She's getting the CTAs out. People are swiping up. People are DMing her. But she needs to turn these people into interested leads. And not just people who are interested in her, but people who are interested in her program, which is why she set up a funnel, which is what everybody uses in order to get leads for their info product. And the way that this funnel works is she has the traffic right here. She has all of her social media platforms. They land into a landing page. That landing page goes into an opt-in where she collects their contact information and is able to send them email sequences out. Then that opt-in, they're opting in for the webinar. They get all the info about the webinar, attend the webinar, get pitched on the webinar, and her team of closers get to close the people who attend the webinar, right? So what does this funnel actually look like? Well, I've taken a screenshot of the entire funnel right here, and I'm going to be breaking it down step by step. So on the very top of this funnel, we have a simple countdown, which is simply creating urgency to buy her high ticket coaching program. Then she has the headline right here, how to step into high ticket sales with Shelby Sapp, because she's building this entire thing around her own personal brand, Shelby Sapp. And then she has her CTA of save my free spot right here, as well as some other information about when it is and a little bit more about the actual program itself, right? Then if they didn't get all the info here, this info really is about what it's going to be like to attend it, when they can attend it. But now they want to figure out what are they going to be getting if they attend it. And then that's what she's speaking about here. So she's listing out problems and desires, and she's also features and she's also speaking about the features and benefits of the masterclass. She also speaks about who it is for, and she's speaking about who it's not for, which is pretty cool. Right now, here I like how she's always using women, because this is her ICP. So if you're selling an info product, you always need to know who your exact ICP is and speak to them directly. So here she knows her ICP is women. She's always saying women, and she's pretty much disqualifying all of the men out of this webinar. She's also speaking a little bit about her personal story for the people who aren't convinced yet. And obviously, like I said, there's a bit of text here. The more text they read, the more videos they watch of Shelby Sapp, the easier they are going to be to convert on the webinar. Then she has the final CTA. It's time to live your dream life. Join this free live masterclass. Once they click on this button right here, or they click on this button right here. So she has 2 different buttons on this page. They go onto an opt-in. This opt-in comes up. I'm sure you guys have seen an opt-in come up on a page before. It's pretty much like this big pop-up, and it's asking you for your contact information in order to register your spot now. And she's asking for full name, email address, phone number, and then they get to click here to sign up. After they click to sign up, once they filled out all of their information right here, she has the post opt-in page. And it's very simple. So it starts with not a video sales letter. She doesn't use a video sales letter here either, because the webinar pretty much is the video sales letter, apart from it's like a live video sales letter on a masterclass or a webinar. But she has this very short 1.5 minute video where she's pretty much just congratulating them on taking the first step, telling them to take an hour out of their day for the webinar. When they come to the webinar, to pay close attention, have a pen and paper ready so that they can ask questions, telling them essentially like it will change your life, what it will be about, telling them to not miss out, add it to their calendar, and check their email for important updates before the webinar, where they're essentially going to be sending a bunch of emails out to warm the leads up before the webinar, to essentially, like I said before, like I keep saying, have them watch more content, very like always giving them the reminders that the webinar is happening. The more content they watch before the webinar, the more active they are during the webinar, the easier they are going to be to convert. And the goal with this is to just make all of the leads show up to the webinar, be as educated and nurtured as possible before the webinar, and get prepared for the webinar itself, right? And then right here, she pretty much has a CTA here to just check their inbox and confirm the entire thing, and then watch this video with her saying a special message from me, right? So very, very simple. And on the back end of this page that she has here, she's pretty much just sending these emails out like I was speaking before. So she has the immediate confirmation email with a positive and excited tone. Then she has information about the webinar, next steps and expectations, and then she's building fear of missing out / FOMO so that they show up to the webinar, and she's just building FOMO around the webinar. Then day 2 to 4, or 2 to 4, they're probably gonna squeeze this in if they like join 1 day before the webinar. But if they join like 5 days before the webinar, she can use this framework right here. Day 2 to 4, she's just sending reminders. Again, positive and excited tone, information about the webinar and building more FOMO. And then day 5, she's doing the final reminder with a CTA to the link to the webinar. And this is day of the webinar, pretty much telling them, guys, don't miss out. But this is a crucial aspect of her coaching business, having this email sequence right here. Now, real quick, before we move into converting leads, I'm sure you guys are watching this video and you're either looking to start or scale your own info product. And you're looking at all of this and you're like, this is cool, but there's no way I'm going to be able to build it out myself, or this is going to take way too long. I have a business to run, actually do this stuff myself. There's no way, like this is going to take months, maybe even years. And you're looking for someone who's experienced in all of this stuff and can build it out, done for you, who's already done it a million times, who's generated hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars doing this exact stuff, then you can pretty much click the first link in my description and book in a one-on-one call with me or my partner. On that call, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing you exactly what our done for you system looks like for you if you're already selling an info product, or you have a good idea for an info product, don't have an audience yet, but want to start building an info product. We'll show you exactly what that system looks like for you to implement, so that you don't need to spend any of your time with this and can just focus on the 2 things that actually matter, which are getting your students good results and building or creating more content. Just a small disclaimer for you guys who don't want to do all of this stuff yourself, but obviously my content is free to watch and you can do this stuff yourself, obviously, right? So let's go on to the final step of the process, which is the conversion mechanism. And she's converting people through a simple webinar. And the goal through this webinar is to turn interested leads into hot leads who can't wait to buy whatever she's offering. And I personally haven't been to one of her webinars, I'll be completely honest here, but here are 2 types of offers which she can't sell. Now, she has a mid-ticket offer and there's a book a call offer. So with a mid-ticket offer, mid-tickets are usually between 1.5, maybe even 1 to 2K, I'd say. And it's a very simple course, potentially including group coaching, right? And after they buy it, they get redirected to a book a call page, see if they're a good fit. It's kind of framed as like a Q&A call, and then they get upsold into a one-to-one mentorship, which will be on a sales call, and it either sells group coaching, if not already included in the mid-ticket offer, or one-on-one coaching, which would be the higher ticket thing between $5,000 and $20,000. And then she could also be using a direct to book a call funnel, where she has an application, fully qualified variations, and then number 1, they have a time commitment. So they're asking, do you have X hours a week to commit to learning high ticket sales? 2, desired outcome. By the way, we're speaking about what's going to be included on the questions to the book a call funnel. Then they're asking about the desired outcome of them doing high ticket sales, different roadblocks which they've been experiencing, personal commitment, asking for their contact information like name and phone number, current income, which can essentially disqualify them, put them on a payment plan, or see if they're qualified. Budget, seeing if they are disqualified, we can potentially put them on a payment plan, or if they are qualified, and then making sure that we get all of the decision makers onto that call. After this, there's going to be a form which they can complete. So if the lead fills out the form but didn't book, they're going to be put into the CRM, and a setter is going to hit them up, or a dialer is going to ring them up and be like, hey, like, how come you didn't book a call? If they do fill it out and they do come into the calendar, they're going to be able to book in a call. They call every single lead to qualify them and make sure that it's a qualified appointment and it's an actual real person, so that they're not wasting the sales team's time. After booking the appointment, they're going to make sure that the lead watches the video sales letters and goes through the specific pre-call process, which could, for example, be a seller and a closer contacting them on WhatsApp immediately and closer speaking with the lead. And then step 4 to 6 would be the seller setting the reminders 24 hours before, 1 hour before, and 5 minutes before. You can also mix these times up. Really just depends on what you see working best for that specific offer, but you would usually need to A/B test this on an offer like this, or especially the size of this. And then automatically they're going to get redirected to a pre-call page where they confirm the call and say to go to the inbox. Step 2 would be the mail confirmation telling them to add this event into their calendar. And then step 3 to 6 would be email and SMS reminders 24 hours before, 6 hours before, 1 hour before, and 5 minutes before. And this would all funnel into the sales call. Now, if they don't show up to the sales call, they're going to call them twice, double dial them, add follow-ups, and they're going to get added to a nurture sequence for people who don't show up to sales calls specifically. If they don't close, there's going to be follow-ups coming in. They're going to try and schedule a follow-up call and then add nurturing or add them to the same nurturing email sequence, which is going to try and get them on another sales call or just to pay the payment link directly from there. And then if they get closed, obviously they make the money and then they onboard them into the coaching program, right? Now, the main thing with offers like this, and especially offers this big, is that they're tracking every single aspect of the coaching business. This is one of the most important things and what a lot of these guys gatekeep, even though it's such a simple thing. Now, the secret, I'm telling you guys, you need to track all of the KPIs so that you can obviously make sure that all of the leads are taken fully advantage of, but also get data so that you can reevaluate and improve your sales process over time. And the way that she's probably structuring this, especially with this big of an audience, is that she's using an ascension funnel. So they might get in for your mid-ticket offer, but then she's going to slowly ascend them to something more valuable, right? But also more expensive. And she's going to keep doing this group coaching to a one-on-one coaching, which could be $6,000. And then a one-on-one coaching to masterminds and networks events, which are obviously a lot more valuable, but also a lot more expensive until she's fully taken advantage of them and pretty much squeezes as much money out of them as possible. And this might be included with the initial mentorship or based off of successful students, right? But this is pretty simple to implement. And that essentially is the entire funnel which Shelby Sapp is currently using to generate over $500,000 a month in profit. Like I said in the beginning of the video, not that hard of a funnel, right? It's pretty simple if you guys actually look at it, but it's all about getting the fundamentals right. And if you're someone who wants to get the fundamentals right, and you're either a creator with over 5,000 followers who wants to start selling an info product or is already selling an info product, or you're an expert in a specific field earning more than $10,000 a month, but don't have an existing info product, but have a very, very good idea for an info product and want to start or scale your own info product, there's going to be my first link in the description, where you can pretty much book a call with me or my partner directly, and we're going to be giving you the exact game plan you need to either start or scale your info product, and also offer you our done-for-you services, where we essentially build and scale your entire info product out done for you, so that you can focus on the two things that actually matter inside of your info product business, which is either getting more content out or helping your students so that you can build a good reputation around yourself. And you don't want to waste all of your time doing this kind of stuff because it is extremely time consuming. But that's everything from me from this video. If you have any questions, you can also DM me on Instagram. I'm going to leave that in the description. Peace out.